Morning, everyone. Welcome to a special Saturday edition here from Jesse's Occupational Awareness Show. As always, I'm your host, Jesse. And today's topic is a viewer requested subject on female correction officers at the Stiles unit. This individual sent me a comment asking if I would do a video on this topic or could I at least talk on it. And at first I said no, absolutely not going down the rabbit hole. The individual talked to me a little bit, and I had to take a step back and remember reasons Reasons I started this channel, entertainment, and to help individuals out that were either going to get in the industry, were in the industry, or out of the industry and wanted to hear a different perspective. So at that point, I had violated number 2 of the reasons that I had started the channel by saying no. So I'm going to do my best to explain the topic without being too stereotypical or harsh. As a matter of fact, this is take 6 of this video that I'm trying to do because I want to get the truth out. I want it to be entertaining, but likewise, I don't want a large influx of backlash from individuals. So for this individual, let's talk about that. Female COs at Stiles. Okay. A lot of people ask, I get this question quite a bit when I talk to people personally about my channel and what the content is about. Did you work with any female COs? Hell yeah, about as many males as I did. Well, why does a woman want to work in a prison? Well, for the same reason that anybody else wants to work into a prison. It's a job. It's pretty freaking easy to hire on to. It's not easy to maintain once you're there, but it's damn easy to hire on. Compared to the military, the benefits package is probably one of the best. Okay, state benefits, guaranteed retirement, pension. All you got to do is show up, put your time in. You got a pension for the rest of your life. Excuse me. Good benefits package for the family. A lot of the individuals that I worked with, they were either male and female. They were either single parents or they had, let's just face it, a lot of them were divorced. They had child support payments that they had to take care of. And this particular job, guaranteed paycheck, you knew what it was going to be. You couldn't get shorted your hours. You could get overtime, or sometimes you get enough comp time. A lot of the individuals I worked with had a side gig on the side. Some would deliver pizzas, others would do some landscaping, yard mowing business on the side. You could get a decent amount of time off. So it was a nice little chance to have some supplemental income. But specifically, females at Stiles. Okay. First and foremost, we were all great. Didn't matter, male, female, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, Nigerian, Mongolian, whoever it was, we were gray. All right, same team, gray versus white. Now, we were supposed to be there to take care of those dudes, but let's just face it, it was gray against white. Every single one of those guys, I'm not even going to go down that path. So, gray and white, all right, that's all it was. Didn't matter if it was male or female, okay? Some of the best individuals that I worked with at SEG, they were female. Unfortunately, I don't remember any of their names. I remember a lot of their faces. Dude, a lot of times they had it worse than we did, okay? I'm going to touch on some topics that are definitely going to be touchy. If you don't like them, just go ahead and X out, hit the dislike, whatever. But I'm going to talk about it. It's a topic about prison. Pause for hydration. All right. One of the more distinctive things about the females at the unit was a special uniform item that they were authorized to wear that males were not. The kill shield. All right. Kill shield was a smock. They wore it basically, think of it like a muumuu. Okay. A muumuu without sleeves, or a really long dress that didn't have any sleeves. It would button in the front. It had a little badge sewn on it. Its main thing was to break up the figure of the female. They obviously have, okay, I'm not even going to go in that. You can figure out the difference between male and female. It was to break up that. All right. At an all male facility, the only female contact that the nasty dudes had was through the staff. And typically, when a female would be on deck, a lot of the guys would get excited. I'm not going to touch on general population. I wasn't exposed to it enough. But in SEG, man, here it comes. All right. 3 terms that they would use: machine gunning, gunning, and killing. All 3 terms apply to masturbation. Okay. These dudes would sit back in their cells. They could see through the little slot that was in the door. There was this, you can't see my, yay long, and it was chicken wire. All right. You could see in through it. You could barely stick your fingers through it. It was just wide enough that if they made a spear, excuse me, if they made a spear, they could stick it through, or they could smash a container and liquid could come through. It was so you could peer in and observe what was going on in the cell. These guys could look out from it, and when they saw a female, if dude was a gunner, man, here he goes. You'd see him standing there at that cell. Usually you'd see, kind of like you would see me from the video here, chest on up, and you could see, you'd see an arm going. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was OJT working in the picket, short little female, badass officer. I hope she's still there. I hope she's made rank. Man, she was the shit. Anytime you got to work with her, it was going to be a good day. All right. I just remember scanning out through the picket and looking over and seeing that familiar motion there. And I asked her, hey, I don't remember what cell it was. We'll just say 48. Hey, look over at cell 48. Is that? And she looks over and goes, oh, yep, there he goes. Man, he old, he crazy, he stanky. And there he goes again. I'm going to get him. And she gets her paperwork out and she starts writing the guy up. Masturbation charge. And I'm watching it, all right, seeing how I had seen that cases were written in the academy. Now I'm seeing how they're written up in real life. And it's like, so does that happen often? She's like, oh, every day. At least once a day he's doing that. He's hard to get caught. He's been in here so long, but I write him up every time that I can. You know, he can't lose anything. He doesn't have no commissary, never has any kind of visitation, but that's his thing. He's a gunner. I said, a gunner? He said, yeah, machine gunner. She goes, he likes killing on us. I'm like, oh, okay. I had heard the term killing in the academy. I hadn't heard the other 2. So at that point, I was like, okay, got it. The reason he was doing it, the pill nurse had come in and she was walking around. And the pill nurse was nobody to look at. Okay, just, I'm not going to describe her, just nobody to look at. She was there to do her job. But because it was a female, male instinct had taken over, and here we go. They were ready for happy time. A lot of times guys would try to set up a distraction. They had already communicated this at some point. Dude in cell 5, cell 12, he could see down the tier because of the way it was lined up. Anytime a female would go by, cell 5 would try to create some kind of a distraction. Stop the staff member from walking. Once they were stopped and dude had clear view, here they go. They start going to town. It got to where sometimes there were so many of those you couldn't write them up fast enough. Try to mark the time. If I caught a break, I try to write a case, but it got to where, you know, it could happen so many times with some of those dudes you couldn't write them up fast enough for it. So first and foremost, number 1, what can you expect at Stiles? You can expect to get killed on. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. The other thing, some of the abuse that could occur from it. A lot of these guys that were in there, they was specific for crimes against women or crimes that they had committed. They hated pretty much everybody, but it would be specifically against women because they had some kind of a male dominance. They were just bad, evil individuals. The comments that they would make to these ladies that would walk in. I remember Miss Bro, whenever she would come in to deliver some property, instead of the individual being glad that they were getting their property, man, she would just receive just a influx, backlash of comments. Just guys yelling at her, banging on the door. Where's this? Where's that? What's her fat ass taking so long? You can use your imagination of some of the comments, and absolutely nothing was off limits. Nothing was off limits. She had the biggest shield up metaphor. She had the biggest shield up of anybody that I had ever seen. Words that were thrown at her, man, they just bounced off of her. She was a rock. She was good property inventory. Wasn't a very pleasant human being to be around, but she was good at her job. She had done her job for God knows how many years, and she did it right. Man, the comments that some of these females would get, bitch, this may get taken down. Bitch, slut, cunt, whore, hoe ass, man, the verbal abuse that they could get could just be way worse than the male counterparts would. I'd be walking with these guys. I would be escorting an inmate down with a female with me, and sometimes the guy would just be hooting and hollering, "Hey, hey, hey, she touching me. She got me. Yeah, look at her. She got me on the arm there." Just making some kind of show. And dudes would start banging and hooting and hollering. Some of the guys, they try to pretend like they had slipped, tripped, and fell. Okay, they're on the ground. Now we're trying to pick them up. They were doing that because the guy in the cell that was behind them, as soon as he saw that female bend over, lean forward at the waist, expose anything, there he goes. He's gunning. Wasn't nothing we could do about it at the time. If the picket boss was good and paying attention, they could mark the time, probably get a case started, just depending on if you had a decent picket boss working. All right. It could be real tough. Those are some of the bad times. Now, some of the good things about being female at the Stiles, it wasn't always like that. Okay? A lot of these guys, they did have family. They had mothers. They had a spouse at some point. Regardless of whatever kind of heinous crimes that they had committed, they still had some kind of a conscience. And the abuse that they would throw at other individuals, they wouldn't throw it at the females. They would actually treat them like decent human beings. You know, I don't know of any names, but they call them Miss such and such, Mr. Carter. Okay, usually I was hoe ass, but it'd be Miss such and such. And they'd show them some respect. And if they needed them to do something, they were ready to come out of the cell, get moving, go from there. Depending on the kind of reputation that they had, working with a female could make a really good day. Now, a lot of times, because of the reputation that I had, it made her day pretty difficult because I wasn't a very popular individual. What's another one? As far as the verbal abuse, they would just get called different words than males would. They'd come up with more words to it, they'd use them more often, and some of the guys had a very misguided attitude. I think they really first off, they hated corrections officers in general. Now, add being a woman, this woman's in charge of me, this male chauvinist, dominant individual. No, he wasn't going to have it. And fight could be on. Wouldn't want to come out of the cell or just ready to pick his time, get ready to try to assault. It's pretty tough to do with handcuffs behind them, but they had shoulders, they had head, they had teeth, they had legs, and the fight could be on. But let me tell you, these ladies that I worked with, dude, they could fucking scrap. Okay? They'd get down on the ground and fight with somebody, the best of them. There was one, it had already happened. I just heard about it. She worked all the way up to her 8th month of pregnancy. Okay? Didn't take any kind of leave off, nothing. 7 months pregnant, belly right there. She was still climbing the steps, yanking guys out of the cells, putting them in the day room, serving chow. Dead ass hot of summer, cold of winter. Okay? Tough. That woman was just steel. Okay, probably one of the toughest COs that you could have worked with. She ran a tight pod. She didn't take shit off anybody, and had a had a damn good reputation with the guys. They hated her, but they knew they couldn't get shit over on her. So when you were working with this individual, it was a pretty easy day. All right, it's still a prison. You still get yelled at all day. But as far as jacking the slot or faking suicide or chunking, nope, there wasn't none of that. They knew they couldn't get away with any of it. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and close this. I hope that this video has helped you out. Good luck. I hope that everything does work out. The Stiles is going to be a different place than it was when I worked there, but it is still a maximum security facility. It's an all-male facility, and all the topics and everything that I talk about, they're still going to apply and they're still going to be relevant. Watch your back. Good luck. Everybody else, have a great rest of your day. Let's enjoy this beautiful Saturday. We finally got a break from some of the dog days heat of summer here. I'll see you guys in the next video.